10 Minutes to Joy is your weekly invitation to reset, recharge, and rediscover your most joyful self through aha moments and simple energy techniques. You're listening to holistic psychotherapist Sylvia Plester-Silk. I've worked with individuals, couples, and groups. From parole officer to private practice, I've learned some things, and I'm happy to share. Have you ever had a situation where you shared something that was upsetting or stressful for you, and people immediately started in with their own reaction? So, for example, 3,000 years ago, my dog got sprayed with a skunk. My dog has passed over a year ago now, so this is bringing up ancient history, but it's a really, really good example. She had gotten hit by a skunk early in the morning, and I posted on social media about how I'd had a stinky morning. I had dealt with the smell. I had skunk out. I used it immediately. The smell in my house was pretty reasonable considering what had happened. Then it started to roll in on social media. Here's how, this is the best way. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do this. It's like, hold it, folks. Stop the camera for a second here. I didn't ask for your opinion. I didn't ask for you to create a solution for me. I'm not sure what was within you that you needed or wanted to find my solution for me. I know at a surface level, they were all in there very much trying to support me. But you see, they weren't supported. I didn't feel supported by it because all I wanted to be was heard in that moment. I just wanted to acknowledge that, yep, that's stinky, that sucks, and we'd move on. How many times have people shared with you something that's going on and you get into rescuer or fixer mode? Have you considered this? Have you thought of this? My niece recently had a baby and is getting a lot of unsolicited advice. We sometimes get so in the want of being helpful that we're the very least of helpful. One couple that I'm working with, she had some upsetting news and experienced a loss. And so he hopped in his best way, trying to support her again, unsuccessfully, but trying, made jokes and laughter, trying to lighten her mood because she was sad and upset. You know what, folks? Sometimes we just need to be in our feelings. Sometimes we just need to be heard that, yep, that sucks. Oftentimes, and rarely, do we ever need fixed. You see, it's one thing if I come to you with a situation and I ask, what do you think or what would you do? Then I've invited the feedback. But if I just share a situation, that doesn't mean it gives you license to fix me or to fix the situation. So I bring this up today for two focuses. Foci. One is, what do we do when somebody does that to us? And the second being, how do we make sure we don't do that to somebody else? If somebody starts to give you advice that you don't want, you can just say, actually, I didn't ask you for your advice. Thanks for trying to support me, but I'm not finding this helpful. I just wanted you to hear me. Or I wanted whatever you were seeking. Maybe you're seeking connection, whatever it was. So setting that boundary, staying true to what you're needing. And sometimes we share without a clear intent too. And so we're giving mixed messages that maybe we want some help that we don't want. So sometimes it's like, okay, what am I looking for when I share this with Bob or Susan or whoever? You insert name accordingly. And I think it's really important to just say clearly, you know what? I'm actually not looking for the solutions right now. I just need to be in my feelings. Another Facebook group I'm part of for a form of energy work I'm taking, somebody came on about a woman being angry and not being able to shift beyond the anger. And my comment was, well, did she ever give herself permission? Or has anybody else given her permission to just be angry? She probably has lots of stuff to be angry about. Just let her feel it. Stop trying to shift it. So we get into helping, and it's a good exercise to say, okay, so let's switch to the other side. So somebody's sharing something with you intimately, and before you jump into fixer mode, you can just say, what is it that you're needing from me today around this? What would be most helpful? Or, I have a few ideas about this. Would you like to hear them? That gives them full permission. I learned many years ago when I was a simulated client at the Ontario Veterinary College that before I gave feedback, and that was the role that I was there to do, was to give new veterinarians or foreign trained veterinarians uh, feedback on how they were coming across from a conversation and comfort way with clients. And even then, the practice was to say, may I give you some feedback? So it's asking permission. It's helping that other person get clear on what they're wanting. So with all your good intentions, you don't miss the mark. Because when we want advice, we really want advice. When we want to be heard, my gosh, it feels really important and central to me anyway. And I think I'm not that strange from other people. Maybe I am, and that's okay. So asking, what is it that you're looking for here? Checking in with yourself. So somebody shared about a really significant loss. What's your immediate response? So just giving yourself 30 seconds to do a check-in and what's that bring up for me? Because we can also overshare from somebody's share and cause. I remember years and years ago when one of my sisters passed away from cancer, I was in a group and again, taking another form of energy work. I might be hooked on that. And this fellow group member just took over and was like, oh, you were so lucky to have a sister. I always wanted to have a sister. And I actually felt like her grief of not having a sister negated my grief over losing a sister. She thought somehow I should be grateful. And I suppose I was grateful that I had Mary Lynn as a sister. But in that moment, I was hurting that I'd lost her. So again, I think that woman was trying to connect, but she didn't check in with herself and she didn't say, is this even appropriate to share at this point? How might this impact somebody else? And perhaps it would have been a healthier response to go and speak with our leader or another friend about it instead of reaching out again and phoning me and doing it again. So I think it's just really important that we do some checks and balances with ourselves. What's this bringing up for me? And is there something that I need to process in this? If it's, oh, I'm really uncomfortable with heavy emotion. Okay, well, how can I build that muscle more so that it can be present for that person that I love and want to be with in my life? Oh, that brings up humor in me. Oh, but she's hurting right now. So is this funny thing appropriate? Probably not. We have a comment. Read the room, folks. Just sort of check what's needed here. And again, verbally can be done. I remember losing when I lost another sister and I was down in the States taking another course. And yes, learning is one of my highest values. And I lost it in the middle of the session and I started to cry and I walked out and I was sitting on a rock and my very good friend Carol came out, never said a word. All she did was sit with me quietly. She just held space for me. She just let me be where I needed to be. And when I was ready, I shared with her. And then she interacted with me. She is incredible in so many ways and at reading the room. It's a skill set that I think we're not taught to have. How do we give enough space for somebody else to be present? And then how do we request space for others to be present with us? Because we may not want advice. We may want to simply be heard, or we want advice. So sometimes when we're emotional, we're not able to articulate it as clearly as we might like. And we can help the other person by saying, what is it that you need? And when we're in that place, we can think about asking for what we need. I don't need advice, but could you just, sit with me? Are you comfortable giving me a hug? And making those healthy, gentle requests for what we're needing. Because none of us are mind readers. Even myself as an intuitive, I miss the mark sometimes. So it's asking and getting that information that's really accurate from that other person so that we can actually be present with them in the way that we desire and that they need, or vice versa. We've shared another 10 minutes of growth together. Remember, joy is a practice, not a destination. Keep moving forward, and I'll be right here with you next Friday.